In this lesson, we'll cover linking CAD files to our Revit project. So let's say you're working with an outside civil engineer, and that civil engineer has your landscape or civil plan you'd like to bring in your Revit project. How do you go about that? Well, first off, the civil plan is probably in a DWG or DXF format if they're using a 2D CAD tool. So how do we bring in those DWG or DXF files? Well, to do that, we'll use an insert tool. Technically, we're going to link the file. So let's go to the Insert tab, and then we're going to click Link CAD. And the Link CAD window will appear. Now, again, we're linking this CAD file in, so if it does change, we could bring in or link in the updates to that CAD file. Now, the type of CAD file on the very bottom, you can see it's preset to DWG, but there's also DXF, and you have a variety of other formats as well, depending on what you're bringing in. Navigate to your data file directory for this course and look for the actual file called civilplan.dwg. Go ahead and single click it. When you single click on it, you'll see a preview of the civil plan on the right. Now, before we open this, at the very bottom, we need to set a few of the settings. First one is colors. Right now it's set to preserve, meaning you're going to keep the colors as they are, or I can invert them, or I can make them all black and white. Leave it set to preserve. For layers, well, I can bring in all the CAD layers, only the ones visible based on how the CAD file was saved, or specify which ones I want to bring in. I'm going to leave it set to specify. Import units. If you leave it set to auto detect, Revit will scan the actual DWG file and try to interpret the units and match them accordingly, or you can set these if you know what they are. For this example here, we're going to leave it set to auto detect, or you could set it to inch. For the very right, positioning, since I don't really have anything in my Revit project right now, I'm going to leave it set to auto center to center. And there's other ones too. Sometimes you may get coordinates from the actual civil engineer and you may want to align by a coordinate, or if you've already have part of your building designed in Revit, you can simply drop in the civil plan and then move the civil plan in accordance to the building, or vice versa. For this example, let's just leave it auto center to center. What level do you want to place it at? I'm going to leave this at level 1, or technically you'd put it at your ground level. And orient to view means that it'll take the north direction in the actual civil plan and point it upward. So with all of those set, go ahead and click Open. What will open next is the Select Layer window. This is asking me now, which layers do you want to keep on this import? Well, I will unselect a few of these. I don't want 0, I won't take guide, I don't need notes, and I don't need text. So I'm going to bring in basically 3 layers: the contour for land, the contour for water, and the property line. Go ahead and click OK. What will actually happen now is the landscape plan will be brought in as a link. And I can roll my mouse to zoom out, or just right click and choose Zoom to Fit. And you'll actually see this civil CAD file brought into your Revit project. To manage this link, to reload it or unload it or bring in other files, you could use the Manage Link button on the Insert tab. So go to the Insert tab, click Manage Link, and then if you look at the CAD Formats tab, you see here's the civil plan, and we could reload the file, unload the file. If you move the file and it can't find the reference, you could reload from. You can also import. Now, if you import in, you break the link because it's now just imported in, so it's standalone, so it's not going to update. So we're just going to leave this as a linked file. Or you could add a new one or remove the existing one. Go ahead and click OK. Now, as far as layer control, we brought in 3 layers, but as we're designing, maybe we don't want to see some of these layers, or we want to turn all the layers off as we're designing. Well, to do that, we can see the settings for the layers in Visibility Graphics. To see that, let's go to the View tab, then all the way to the left, click Visibility Graphics. On the Visibility Graphics window, let's go to the tab Imported Categories. On the tab Imported Categories, you see the DWG civil plan that we linked into our Revit project, and the 3 layers below it. So this is where I could turn off any of the layers within the CAD file. So if I turn off the land contours and the water contours, By unchecking and then clicking apply, I actually see if I move this window, the actual contours from the layers from the CAD file are turned off. Or I could turn them all off or turn them all back on. Go ahead and click OK. In this lesson, we looked at how to link in CAD files. Specifically, if you have a 2D DWG file or a DXF file, more than likely produced by a civil engineer. We looked at how to link that in through the Insert tab through the actual CAD tool, how to actually select what layers to bring in, the positioning of this CAD file in our Revit project, and the unit classification. We also looked at how to reload or unload this file, and then also how to control the layer visibility once it's actually linked into our Revit project.